Hey everyone, Teresa with Hick-A-Billy LLC. Before I get started on my video with the update on my closet garden, I'd like to apologize and correct something that I've been saying. So I've been telling people that I am growth zone 3 because I was told I was in growth zone 3, and I found out that now I'm actually in Grow Zone 4A. So there is a website where I can go by my zip code and it'll give me your grow zone. So I want to apologize. I'm so sorry, everyone. I really thought I was zone 3, but I am in zone 4A. So I hope you enjoy this video, and I hope you're all having a great day. I am doing a closet garden update. So I tried to fill this up as much as I could with stuff that I already had. A few things that I did start from scratch, from seed, and that would be my rice. And I do want to say thank you to Terry Until He Comes for encouraging me to continue growing rice. As she's been doing successfully. And look at this, I've got rice going. I'm so excited. I can't wait until the day that I can actually start growing my own rice, and enough to where I can have my own food source from it. And then this here, I sprouted some lamb's quarter seeds, which I might actually kind of do over. I sprouted them, put a little bit of dirt on top of it, hoping that, it'll take root and whatnot. But I haven't seen anything happen in a couple of days, so I might just throw some seeds, pull this up and throw some seeds down, and just pat them down into the soil. And this is the, what is that, wild black mustard. If you've caught my video on that, the greens are edible on the plant, and then you have your seeds that you can use to make mustard. And that was so delicious that it went away so quickly. I really wish I had more seeds. So this is a dual purpose. It's to supply me with a food source and like some mustard greens to have for salads and whatnots, or stir fries, but also I want them to go their full life cycle and provide me with more seeds so I can start a garden next year that will provide me with plenty of mustard greens and then seeds to make my mustard condiment. So these are what I've started. When I started the closet garden. This is a mint plant growing so that I can try and get more mint. I love peppermint. I like to put it in my coffee, but I also like to have peppermint tea after a meal to help with the digestion. That really works. This monstrosity here I found in my yard. This is called mallow, and it is a wild edible, an annual, but it'll reseed itself. So I transplanted it in here a couple days ago, and you could see all of these leaves are shriveling up, and it's an edible. It has these little fruit on them. They're like little wheels. And when they're mature, they're kind of have a yellowish color on the inside that kind of resemble cheese wheels. So these are called cheese wheels for their fruit, and it's like okra. This is very what's the word? Mucilagenic. Is the word, like that prickly pear cactus that I ate that I couldn't eat because it was just too slimy. That's what this is supposed to be like too. But the leaves and the stems are edible on this, and they're not as bad. So I'm hoping that this will the root will get established and it will start growing again, and hopefully it will produce some seeds for me so it can reseed itself and come back and give me something to eat over the winter. Google the medicinal uses of mallow. It's actually pretty good. So something you might want to have in your herbal medicine garden. I did post a shared video about a missing link that people are not, when you're doing your preparedness for, preparing for anything, disasters or whatnots, or just having food, you might want to have a medicinal apothecary set up. So you want to grow your medicine. So start thinking about that, guys. Growing your own medicine. This is not just food, it is also medicine. This is purslane. These are common weeds that you'll find in your yard. I believe they are both all over North America. Purslane is another annual. It is a succulent plant, and it's very tasty. There's no bitterness to it. Unlike the lamb's quarter, if it gets too strong, or the mustard greens, it's a nice change between those bitter plants to having this nice fresh, I want to say a fresh greenness taste. I don't know how to describe it, but this purslane is a nice edible. Everything of that is edible. And I believe there are some medicinal uses from that plant also. So look them up, take a check, check them out. Now this is my tomato bucket. I have 3 kind of tomatoes in here. I've got a Tidy Treats cherry tomato that was a volunteer plant that came up this year that was in my greenhouse area. This is the indigo cherry drop tomato, and this one back here is the sun gold. The reason why I have all this debris down in here is because I put in some compost worms in here, and I wanted to give them a food source for them to be. So because I have 3 tomato plants in here, I'm concerned that they aren't going to have enough nutrition in here. So over time, I'm going to keep feeding my worms and give them a food source, and they will continue to put in some nutrients into the soil so that these guys can stay strong. I don't know if it'll work, but we'll see how it goes over time, and hopefully I'll have enough room in here. What I'm going to do is I'm not letting them bush out. I'm going to have them do the single vine up their little trellis that I'll have here for them. And when they get to the maximum height of this closet, which is about 6 feet, hopefully I'll take some of these, what do you call those, slips that come off of between the leaf and the main stem. I'll take one of those and get them started, and as that one's starting to grow, I should be able to harvest off of these and keep this as a perpetual tomato patch. Let's see here. Over here, these 2 pitcher containers, I've got, I went out and bought beetroots at the grocery store. I've had this outside. My chickens have been eating off of it. I brought this one in before the other one, and the chickens will eat it down like that one there. And, oh, dry skin again. This one was ate down, and this is what's been growing in here for the past about week and a half that when I started this garden, and it's doing well. I think I need just 1 beet plant per person in the household, so 1 for me and 1 for my husband, and that'll be nice greens. to add to my meals. Rather than eat the root, I have a forever producing plant that will give me some good greens to eat. And then, let's see here, this plant here, this is more rice. I don't know if I talked about that earlier when I was talking about my rice. And this here is a little cutting from my Tontandine kale that I have outside. And since my Tontandine kale is extremely slow growing, we'll see if this actually takes. And if this roots and starts to grow, I'm going to up pot this into another pot. And these are some more rice seeds that I have. I'm going to set this back over here. But this plant here is called the sweet dumpling squash. And I had this outside. It was in my outdoor garden area, and the cats or the chickens kept digging up. They killed, I had 2 of them, they killed one, and I think the cats were using the area that I had this planted. They were trying to use it as a potty, and so it kept getting knocked over. So I pulled it out, put it in this pot, and then it was just getting too hot. The sun was burning the leaves. It had a bunch of dried leaves on here, which have fallen off. And now I have all this new growth, which is really nice here. I've got probably about 6 inches of growth since I moved it indoors. All this nice, new, beautiful green, no burning on it. I've got, let's put this over this way. I have flower heads coming on in there. Let's see if I can get a better look on this side. Yeah, see, I have flower heads. So it is loving it in here. And of course it's going to be a large vine, but I'm going to wrap it around these 3 wooden stakes, and it's just going to go in a circle all the way up to the maximum height of about 6 feet. And hopefully I will get some squash. That would be so nice. And then back here, I took broke off a branch that was way, it was an extra growth on my, what is that called? Oh my goodness, why am I drawing a blank? Thai basil. Good grief, that was difficult. So that is a piece of my Thai basil that's outside that's doing well. It had a branch that was way low on it, and so I pulled that and separated it. It did have some roots, so I transplanted it into that pot, and it seems to be doing all right. It's a little weepy, but I think it's really hot in here. It's hot outside, and these lights in here are just giving off so much heat. I don't have air conditioning in this back section of the house, so it's a little bit more difficult to keep things cooler. My air conditioning doesn't even keep up with just where it's at. So, but anyway, so these plants might be getting a little bit too warm in here. And then I transplanted one of the weaker Egyptian walking onions in here, and hoping that I can get some bulbs to make some new plants. And then this plant right here is another vine plant that is a long bean, and I've never grown that before, so we'll see how well that does. I will have to trellis it up this wall somehow. I'll have to figure out how to do that. And then here I have cabbage, which I need to get potted. There's 4 of them. And get a place for these to go in there. They need their own pots because those are going to be big. They need to have their own individual little pots. And hopefully I'll be able to fit all of them in here. And I have 3 citrus trees in here that I need to be moving elsewhere because I do want to put in some carrots and whatnots. But they're in pretty bad shape. I had them outside, and they were doing pretty well until the weather started changing. We got a ton of water at one time, and then we got extreme heat. So this plant here is a lemon tree, and it's lost almost all of its leaves. And then Maud, I've done videos of Maud. Well, she lost everything again. Look at her. She's even worse off than she was last winter. She did grow twice her size from last winter, but you can see she's got quite a bit of damage from our weather. So, yeah, Maud, I hope, will recover from this awful disaster she's got here. But her branches are still green. I'm hoping she'll stay alive for me. I'm going to do the same thing I did last winter and make sure she's got the right amount of moisture in her tub there. I put some compost worms in there. There's a food source in there for the worms to eat and supply nutrients for her. And I'm sealing this baby up. I'm going to seal her up, and I'm not going to worry about her drying out or being overwatered again. And I hope that she will give me her leaves back, and I will never put her outside again. She's going to stay, actually all of my citrus trees will stay indoors from now on. But they seem to like it in this grow room. They seem to be, the leaves, look at, the leaves are a nice color green. They're doing well. And I think they're happy in here. So I'm going to build them their own place for all of my fruit trees. I have Fred and Ethel, my fig trees. Ethel's head sadly died. She didn't make it, but her body's still alive. So we have Ethel's body, and Fred's doing well. So I'm going to bring them in with my citrus trees. And the true test of this grow room is going to be when winter hits. This part of the house is the coldest part of the house in the winter, and so we'll see how warm it stays. I should put a temperature gauge in here so I can find out how warm these LED lights, how much heat they're actually putting off, and how warm it's going to be keeping this garden area. So as I do garden updates throughout the year, you guys will be able to follow along with me and see how that goes. Okay, everyone. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. Happy gardening and happy homesteading.